To a scandal at the International Criminal Court, quite sinister, more identity politics, I'm afraid. Karim is a Muslim lawyer from Britain who became the Criminal Court's Chief Prosecutor. He last year applied for warrants for the arrest of Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu for alleged war crimes in Gaza. It was a stunning call, very controversial. The US government announced that, other countries did too, but our government, I'm afraid, refuses to say if it would act on that warrant and arrest Netanyahu if he ever came to Australia. But here's the scandal. Just 2.5 weeks before Khan made that very political call to arrest Netanyahu, he'd actually learned that one of his own staffers had accused him of rape. Khan denies it. The question now is, did Khan then call for Netanyahu's arrest so that Muslim countries would at least back him if this alleged scandal came out? Because suddenly Khan was in a rush for these warrants. He cancelled a fact-finding trip that had been arranged to Israel and Gaza, a trip he said was very important for him to make up his mind. And now we learn that his accuser, a Muslim herself, claimed Khan told her not to go public with her claims, but to think about the Palestinian arrest warrants, how they would be affected, and told her the casualties will unfortunately be 3: you and your family, me and my family, and the justice of the victims. Joining me from London is writer, broadcaster and commentator Esther Krakue. Esther, so far we're just talking about allegations, of course, that are denied, but this is looking murkier and murkier.
It is. I mean, this exclusive by the Wall Street Journal gets more fascinating and quite disturbing the more you read into it. So actually, the rumors of these sort of sexual impropriety with regards to Mr. Khan and his engagement alleged with his staffer came out in October last year. So it was swirling around in October, so the year before. And actually, just a few weeks before this lady decided to go public with this allegation, there was a senior advisor in the International Criminal Court that went to Mr. Khan's house actually to address him directly and to see if these rumors had any basis. And then a few weeks after that, these arrest warrants were issued. So actually, these kind of murmurings had been going on for months prior to it. So there are many questions as to whether he rushed these arrest warrants to try and cover up any sort of negative press or publicity on him. Of course, he denies all the allegations, but it paints a bigger problem for the ICC, which is if the internal handling of alleged sexual impropriety is so poor and weak, how are they, jumping to the conclusion that Netanyahu should be served an arrest warrant for allegedly trying to starve Gazan citizens and directly targeting Gazan citizens? Remember, part of the reason why this arrest warrant was so controversial is because, one, Gaza is a heavily, densely populated area. And also, it kind of seemed like he was putting Netanyahu and Hamas, who literally had barbarically butchered thousands of innocent Israeli citizens, on the same pedestal, the same level. Now, of course, I'm not a legal scholar, and I don't claim to whether promote or not promote the legal basis for this. But it's very, very peculiar. And of course, these allegations just makes the ICC seem either more incompetent or just more politically inclined.
Sure does. Esther, your Labor government has battled for a long time with this invasion of illegal immigrants, boats and boats and boats loads coming over, and some ridiculous story. I mean, I saw one the other day, that alleged Islamic Iranian terrorists were actually housed as illegal immigrants in a house provided by taxpayers. Really crazy stuff. The government has now finally acted, taken a big stick, it says, to immigration. Migrants will be told they've got to spend a decade in Britain before they can apply for citizenship, stricter English language requirements, and many fewer immigrants, although they won't say quite how few. How big is this?
Well, it's definitely a shift in the Overton window. I mean, for Keir Starmer to say something like, the increase in the population doesn't necessarily mean economic growth, and to say that mass migration is turning Britain into an island of strangers is a huge admission for him. The question is whether anyone believes it. I mean, this is the same man who said he's going to stop the boat and smash the gangs, and yet, shy of a year into his premiership, they're coming stronger than ever. This, and you rightly say, invasion of predominantly men of working age coming across these boats, coming from France, claiming that France is some sort of, terrorist hellscape. And he hasn't been able to smash the gangs. I mean, the idea of even smashing a gang that's making upwards of £1 million of the illegal smuggling of people is ludicrous, because just like the drugs trade, you smash one and another one will take its place. It's actually to make the country less attractive, like the Australians did, that our government actually hired consultants from Australia to try and get us to do, and yet the successive government decided to squander that. So again, not many people believe him because he's had a lot of time to do the talking, particularly in opposition. And 10 months into his premiership, it has been extremely disappointing. He's talking about renting private accommodation for illegal migrants instead of putting them up in hotels. Now, the hotels was controversial enough, but actually telling local Brits that they will now have to compete with the housing supply with illegal migrants who have really no reason to be here is a complete insult. And so many people are thinking, well, you're saying one thing and doing another.
Esther, I don't know whether you've had the same phenomenon there as here, but here, a decade ago or whatever, 15, whatever, saying no to immigrants, to illegal immigrants was racist, and now the left has embraced it too. So it just proves the adage for me that the difference between a conservative and someone of the left is simply time. Wait long enough and tomorrow's racist act will become necessary now. Is that what is happening in Britain, where you've now got a Labour government saying we've got to crack down on immigration?
Absolutely. And I think a lot of credit can actually be given to Blue Labour, which is the kind of more traditional working class, sort of 1970s throwback faction of the Labour Party, saying, hey, you used to be the party of the working class. If you have loads of people entering our work market, you drive down wages, you're hurting, the working class the most. And these policies are destroying the fabric of this country. There's no social trust. You have strange men, leering and sort of just hanging around schools, primary schools. There have been rumours and police reports of these kinds of strange men just hanging around schools. And we know that these kinds of topics are very sensitive, because when the grooming gang scandal came out, it turns out that there were MPs back in the early 2000s that said, hello, we've had reports of strange men, predominantly of a particular origin, hanging around schools, primary and secondary schools, trying to pick up young girls. So again, is this actually going to lead to some changes? We don't know, but we know that reform has made the message very, very loud and clear.
Esther Krakue, it's great to talk to you. Thank you.